So this is part two of me being assaulted by a star football player in college. Like I've never really told a bunch of people this story. Like if you know me, you might have heard, that I've had this experience back in college, but I definitely never have given out the details before. I don't know. It's kind of, I don't know. I felt a lot of shame for a long time. Um, yeah, I felt shame for a long time. It's not something that, I'm proud that I went through. But anyway, back to the story. So he shows back up, a few hours later, and he's banging on the door and he's yelling, he's screaming. And, eventually he kind of calms down and he's like, if you just let me back in, then, I'll fix everything and everything will be okay. He's asking me, am I okay? Because he knows, like, he punched me in my face at the top of my head. At this point, I have bruising, I have swelling. He calms down a little bit on the other side of the door, mind you, because I'm not letting him in at this point. And he calms down and he's, you know, trying to play Mr. Nice Guy because he really wants to get back in. So meanwhile, while I'm at the door trying to keep him engaged or whatnot, my roommates call campus security, again, the campus police, because they told us that not only would he be coming back, but they would come and pick him up when he does. So we call campus security. They get there as fast as they can, but by the time they get there, I think he probably heard them driving up or pulling up or whatnot, and he runs off and they can't find him again. So by this time, it's getting dark, and campus security is like, hey, he'll probably be back. We've seen this before. He'll probably be back. And make sure you guys, stay in your apartment because it's getting dark and we don't know where this guy is. We can't find him. And we want to make sure that you guys are safe. And, y'all, all of you, and this is, I got like 3 other roommates at the time. They advised all of us to stay in the room where we would be safe and we could lock the doors. They also informed us that this time that they would have like an unmarked car parked outside in our apartment complex so that if they see him coming to the door, that they can just pick him up. And a couple hours later, that's exactly what happens. It gets dark. He comes back that night and he starts banging on our door, yelling and screaming and cussing and, yelling insults and stuff at us. And they saw him come up to the apartment and he gets arrested. And at that point, I just remember feeling not safe totally, because again, this is something that I'd never had to deal with before, but he's been picked up at this time. He's going to jail. I figured they would keep him there for a while and, at least I would be safe from him coming back and trying to do any harm to me again. So, I'm scared, I'm shaken up, but I feel like I can at least rest a little bit now. Cause this had happened over the course of maybe like 5 or 6 hours. And again, I'm all bruised up, I've got scars and bruises and stuff at this point. They're getting more pronounced as time goes on. So at this point, I'm at least feeling like, I've been protected and I am safe because he's no longer, out there. He's not watching us. They are locking him up and we are pressing charges. But by the very next morning, I realized that all of that safety that I'm feeling is quite false because first thing in the morning, we get a knock at the door and it's not only the guy that assaulted me, the star football player, but it's also like 2 or 3 of the coaches standing with him knocking on our door. Let me know if you want a part 3.